Ulrich flashed a false smile at the man. What about its safety, Mr. Crane? Well, to be frank with you, Ulrich, I'm concerned with how you manage your properties. It would be a shame if something were to happen to them if you were to continue ruling this place after the upcoming aristocracy examination. How thoughtful of you to be so worried about our village's safety. However, it's really not your problem. I promise you, I've got it covered. Oh, well, forgive me for saying this, but it seems unlikely your house will survive the examinations. In that case, I'd hate to see a family not from Dunshire take command of it and run it into the ground. Well, there's where you're wrong, Mr. Crane. I'm not worried at all about our family's examination. Let all challengers come. You may live to regret those words, Ulrich. Why not hand over your title to me now? That way, I can safeguard it against any who may wish to take Dunshire away from its native people. Smack! Ulrich's hand hit the table hard enough to shake it. How dare you speak so openly of usurping my lands, you who hasn't lived here in decades? Who gave you the guts to shout such obscenities in my halls, huh? Was it the ravens? Tell me, or I swear your trade routes shall not pass through these lands for a moment longer. Sensing the truth behind Ulrich's words, Carlton couldn't help but backpedal, knowing that if he pushed too hard, he could lose countless coins in the process. Ulrich, please, I'm on your side here. I just want to help, and I was merely suggesting. Podrick stood up and shouted as well. You were trying to piss in his mouth, is what you were doing. He is your lordship. You shall address him as such or face my blade. How dare you, you dumb peasant traitor. Let the men in this room talk uninterrupted. I was just about to make your lord here a very lucrative offer. Shove your silver up your ass, Carlton. Wham! Ulrich kicked over a chair to get everyone's attention. Enough of this, please, Podrick. I shall fight my own battles. As for you, Mr. Crane, if you wish to become the Lord of Dunshire, then you must wait and take it from me in a challenge during the exam. I shall not be bartered with like some foolish youth. Would you not wish to hear the number first? Nathan stood up as well. He smirked as his hands caressed the hilt of his sheathed knife. Mr. Crane, before you continue, I would beg you to please hold your tongue, for, you see, I think I hear your father calling for you. That's right. Why don't you go back to your daddy, the High Lord Raven, and tell him that if he wants our seat, he'll have to take it from us himself. Carlton Crane's face grew red from rage. Such impudence. All I'm trying to do is save you from your own destruction, but all I get in return are threats and jests. So be it. You can tell your people it was your own hubris that caused their homes to burn to rubble. Ulrich fumed as he nodded for his guards to escort the Cranes out of his manor. Guards, take these two thieves out of my sight. Carlton Crane chuckled menacingly as he was pulled out of the room by the guards. You've made a terrible mistake, Lord Ulrich. Let's wait and see just how well you fare at the nobility examinations against House Crane. The new threat of Carlton Crane and his son lingered in Nathan's mind for only a few minutes after the unwelcome visitors had been kicked out of the manor. Soon after, his focus returned to the two upcoming tests he was about to undergo. First, he considered the spiritual fighting examination, which was for youthful students of the sword only, and which happened once every 5 years in the kingdom of Calandria. Due to his rigorous training and development over the past 2 years, Nathan Hayfield did not think his test was anything to be concerned about. What took up far more of his mental energy was the second test, the nobility examination. That exam occurs only once every 10 years. It was far more important than the first exam. For if House Hayfield were openly challenged by a strong commoner family or rival noble house, they'd have to fight in a series of duels in order to keep their titles and their lands. Nathan knew that the nobility examination was the perfect opportunity for House Raven, the Clays, and the Cranes to exact their revenge on his family and steal the hamlet of Dunshire out from under them. Nathan's fists clenched as he thought about how they would soon have to leave the safety of their home to journey back to the fiefdom's capital of Godricshall in order to complete the examinations. Back into the viper's nest we go. Knock, knock. Later that night, as Nathan soaked in his dexterity elixir bath, he turned to find his father, Ulrich, quietly waiting for him at the door. Dress quickly, my son. Before we leave for Godricshall in the morning, there is something you must know. Nathan dried himself, then threw on a tunic and pants and followed his father down in the basement of the manor, where the family crypts were kept. Ulrich stopped as he approached the small stone statue of Nathan's mother, Priscilla. What is it, father? Why have you brought me down here? There is something you must know before we make the journey tomorrow. Before our family comes under direct threat, this nobility examination will be no easy feat for us. We are surrounded by many powerful enemies, and if something were to happen to me, my secrets would also disappear. Secrets? What secrets, father? You deserve to know the hard truth, because if I am cut down in this upcoming battle, this truth should not pass on with me. Please, speak plainly. Ulrich turned and looked over at the statue of Priscilla. Tears welled up in his eyes as he spoke, but he did not let them fall. Your mother, Priscilla? The way she died. What of it? She died from a plague soon after I was born. No, that story is a lie, meant to ease the minds of the local folk. Nathan, listen to me. Your mother was murdered. Nathan Hayfield leaned against the walls of the crypt and tried to calm himself. When all of his past life's memories flooded his consciousness, he took them all as truths. His mother had died while he was still a child from a sickness. This was the first time he had ever heard it said otherwise. What? That's not possible, father. Everyone knows she was sick. Sick, yes. Dying? No. In fact, she had fully recovered by the time she was struck down. Who? Who did this to her, father? Give me a name. Oh, lad, if I only knew the name myself. I was away in Godricshall at a council of the nobility when it happened. Old Billy found her with her throat slit in her chambers and told only me when I returned. When I found out, I was sick with fury. I wanted to bum rush the landscape and send the guards out into the countryside to comb it over inch by inch. But in my heart, I knew it to be a fool's errand. The assassin had clearly come and left, and the blood at the scene was cold. I can't believe it, father. Who could have done something so treacherous? By all accounts, my mother wished no ill will on anyone. More than that, your mother was a saintly woman. She cared for the people in this town in ways I struggled to understand. At the time, I wanted to take out my vengeance on the world, but I couldn't. Amelia was but a child, and you were a newborn baby boy. Had I left then, would have meant the ultimate destruction of House Hayfield and everything Priscilla and I had built together. It kills me to this day to say it, but I know her soul counseled me from the heavens to stay here with you. Why are you telling me this now, father, after all this time? Because, for the first time in forever, I feel strong again. You have given me strength, my son. For many years, I've given up the search for the killer to raise you, but now that I see your power growing, I know it is time to seek out vengeance once again. The only clue I ever found was a single footprint in the mud behind our house, a single boot print with a strange insignia on the base of it, this symbol here. Ulrich pointed to a strange symbol that almost looked like a star made out of interlocking swords that was inscribed by the base of Priscilla's tombstone. What does it mean? I don't know, but the footprint headed west, towards Godricshall. I do not know where the villain went after that, but I pray to the heavens to guide me toward another clue shows us where the assassin went from there. Nathan solemnly nodded his head and gingerly knelt before his mother's stone statue. Do not worry, Father. I swear to you now, before the heavens and before Mother, that I shall help you avenge her death, that together we shall find the murderer and make him pay for what he has done. No matter how long it takes, no matter the enemies that stand in our way, we shall vanquish him and bring the bastard who did this to justice. Whoosh! As Nathan spoke, a blue glow emanated from his body, and suddenly a gust of wind blew through the chamber. Ulrich marveled at his son's spiritual abilities and resolve. Unbelievable! My son speaks as if the heavens themselves were right beside him. I can't help but wonder just how strong he really is. At dawn the next morning, Ulrich, Nathan, and Amelia mounted horses and set off on the road towards Godricshall. Since the Hayfield family was so small, they were able to move quickly across the landscape together. Along their journey, they passed a small column of villagers in a sorry-looking state. Ulrich frowned and galloped up to the front of the group. Nathan, stay here with Amelia in case there's any kind of trouble up ahead. Yes, Father. Nathan's superior hearing allowed him to eavesdrop as Ulrich approached the village elder at the head of the column. Nathan's eyesight helped him see that the man had a long, gray beard. The rest of the man's face was covered in soot and blood. Ulrich spoke to the man without fear, only empathy. Good day to you, traveler. I wish to speak with you. Another lord on a horse. What do you wish to take from us now? Our soot-covered clothes? There is nothing left to steal. Be gone. What is the meaning of this, sir? What happened to you all? What happened? What always happens. Our lords in Godricshall demanded more wool from our sheepherds than was possible for us to shear. But does his lordship check to see the state of our village's shepherds, or give us medicine to treat our sicker calves? No. He only demands more from us, year after year, until, finally, this year, we could not meet his demands. What barbarity is this? Did your lord attack his own people? He did not invite us over for a flagon of ale, if that's what you're wondering. No, of course, he attacked us, sent in his personal guard to burn down our homes and slaughter our sheep. We have few of us made it out with our lives. Heavens bless you. This is awful. You must petition Duke Godrickson at once. He will set this straight. As if the Duke cared at all. Our Lord is not some lowly noble. He has the Duke's ear and is untouchable to us. No, we flee to the mountains for now. At least there, he will not come for us. Ulrich frowned at this disturbing news and pulled a coin purse from his side. Here, it's not much, but it's something. It'll get your people food and clothes for the winter at least. You all have been deeply wronged, and for that, I am sorry. Thank you for your coin, good sir. Perhaps if more nobles took note of the common folk, we would not be in this situation. Yes, but I must ask you, who is your lord? As a noble yourself, you must know him well. The scoundrel that raised his own village for fun is none other than the High Lord Raven himself. Ulrich fumed as he begged his leave and returned to his children. Nathan acted as if he had not heard the entire conversation, but inside his mind, he plotted all the ways he'd make House Raven pay for all their misdeeds. As they approached the outskirts of the Godricshall, it became clear that all the noble families of the fiefdom, as well as all young spiritual swordsmen in Godric's land, were headed into the local capital city. The crowd entering through the gates was massive, large enough that street vendors poured out of the city to cater to the outside foot traffic. Sellers called out their wares to the crowd, while a few musicians began to play in the hope of making a few copper coins. Amelia's jaw dropped when they finally entered through the gate. She had never seen the fiefdom's capital before, and had only rarely traveled outside of the hamlet of Dunshire. This place was 100 times larger than any other city she'd seen before. Look at all these people packed inside here already. Wow! To think the spiritual warrior examination isn't for another few weeks, and the nobility examination isn't for a month. Ulrich chuckled at his daughter's amazement. Just wait. A couple more days from now, this crowd will seem like nothing. During examination years, Godricshall is said to host 20,000 guests. Although the grand meeting of the nobles and their youths had yet to begin, the festive atmosphere inside the city was infectious. Amelia laughed as she pointed out a clown on stilts, fire-eating performers, a snake charmer, and dozens of other entertaining sights. Nathan enjoyed his sister's excitement and allowed himself to chuckle a little, despite knowing the dark days that lay ahead. Finally, the three of them navigated into the heart of the city, where they ate dinner in a fancy restaurant and found a hotel with 3 rooms for the night. The following morning, Nathan, who had spent the most time in Godricshall when he went to school at the Academy of the Mystic Blades, showed Ulrich and Amelia around. He took them all over the massive city. Throughout the day, they saw many opulent monuments dedicated to great warriors of the past, as well as a beautiful series of public gardens and, finally, a tour of the outside of Duke Godricson's keep. Amelia took in everything with excitement, but Nathan noticed his father, Ulrich, couldn't help but survey the perimeter at all times. They were in enemy territory, after all. Later that night, over mutton chops at the restaurant next to their hotel, Ulrich cautioned his son against the many threats they faced. Remember, Nathan, private duels in this city are forbidden, so if the Clays or House Raven try to goad you into a conflict, you must not accept unless it is in front of an unbiased public. Until then, you must be patient. Yes, Father, I understand. If I am goaded, as you say, I will only draw my knife if a deal has been made to settle the matter as a public duel. I will not engage them otherwise. Good, good. I feel our enemy's eyes are on us, even now, perhaps. Across the street from the hotel, Lord Byrum Clay's brother, Goldenaxe, watched them from the shadows. His hand gripped the axe handle on his shoulder as he approached the hotel, but before he could enter the building, a troop of Godricshall guards marched past. Goldenaxe sighed and thought better of openly engaging his sworn enemies. Instead, he leaped onto a nearby rooftop and raced across town as fast as he could. An axe blade cut an ornate table clean in half. Lord Byrum Clay furiously smashed the table to pieces with his weapon. His head was beet red as he addressed Goldenaxe and other high-ranking members of House Clay in their family's great hall. The Hayfield family has gone too far. How dare my son's treacherous murderer openly wander the same streets as me? They've been allowed to live undisturbed for far too long. I ought to slay all of them myself. Lord Clay had done the High Lord Raven's bidding and had waited for his moment to strike. But after learning of the deal between House Raven and House Crane, Lord Byrum was concerned that he would lose his chance for vengeance. Goldenaxe cleared his throat to speak in a calming tone. My lord brother, perhaps it would be wise for someone outside the family to exact our revenge for us. As it stands, we would not wish to displease the High Lord Raven or, even more importantly, the Duke himself. Lord Clay turned to face his men and gritted his teeth. Damn it! You say things I do not wish to hear. But you are right, dear brother. Mordrid Daggath, approach me. Out of the shadows appeared a figure clad in all black, with a belt full of throwing knives and daggers at his side. This mysterious man knelt before Lord Byrum and lowered his head. Mordrid Daggath is at your service, Master Clay. Mordrid, tonight, I want you to go to the hotel where House Hayfield is staying. Do not bother with the son or Lord Ulrich. Instead, I want you to murder Lord Hayfield's 20-year-old daughter. I want them to wake up tomorrow and feel the pain they made me feel. And, Mordrid, yes, Master Clay, I want her to suffer. Yes, sir. With that, Mordrid Daggath disappeared from view, leaping up and out of the great hall and into the night's sky through a window in a matter of seconds. Lord Byrum's sinister smile faded as his eldest son, Michael Clay, spoke up. "Father, why entrust such a mission to a sellsword? I should be the one shedding blood for Jason. It should be my task." "Michael, do not flatter yourself. Your skills are not yet strong enough to take on Lord Ulrich if he were to catch you. Mordred's abilities as a level 9 apprentice fighter are second only to my own." Lord Byrum chuckled as he thought of Lord Ulrich waking up to the ghastly sight of his only daughter lying in a pool of her own blood. "Everybody knows those fiendish Hayfields care for their young Amelia more than anything else in this world. If I can kill her quickly and brutally, I can break the fighting spirit inside of Ulrich and Nathan before the examinations have even begun. Finally, then, my precious little Jason can find peace." Of course, he had no way of knowing that Lord Ulrich himself had finally surpassed apprentice level 7 and was now his equal at master level 1. Instead, Lord Byrum reveled in his bloody fantasy as he caught Michael's eyes once more. "Besides, if my sellsword were to be captured, he'd die before he'd give up our family name. Therefore, there is no risk of this attack coming back to haunt us, whereas, if I let you go after her, the risk to House Clay's reputation grows significantly." "Ugh, fine. I shall do as you say this time, but I demand an opportunity to face Nathan in combat once the time comes." "Very well, my son. You shall have your fight soon enough." Later that night, Mordrid watched from a rooftop through slits in his black mask as the Hayfield family went into their respective rooms in the hotel to sleep. He waited until all 3 of their candle lights went out before making a move. After all, Mordrid was a patient man. Without a sound, Mordrid crept across the rooftop before leaping down onto the balcony outside of Amelia's window. Swoosh! He landed softly and smirked at the sleeping young woman in her bed. She had no idea that this was the last dream she would ever have. He hoped it was a good one. He had studied her habits all afternoon and knew exactly which room she was in and exactly where she would be lying when he got inside. Mordrid slowly opened Amelia's window with a lock-picking tool and thought about how easy this all was for him now. He had spent years mastering the way of the assassin and had lived through many close calls, but now this type of work seemed dull. A backcountry noble whose strength is lower than mine and his runt of a son at beginner level 2, barely worth hiding from. Why sneak around at all? Why not kill all 3 now and be done with it? I'm sure Lord Clay would reward me well if I brought him 3 heads instead of 1. As Mordrid finally slid the window all the way up, he stepped 1 foot into the room when an unseen voice whispered in his ear. "Hello there, my friend. What brings you here on this fine evening?" Mordrid couldn't believe his ears. "What? Who could possibly have spotted me lurking around this time of night? I stayed in the shadows and barely made a sound. Whoever they are, their power level must be insane." Mordrid didn't even turn to look at his new companion as he tried to leap onto another balcony. But before he could go anywhere, a firm hand gripped his shoulder and pulled him back down. Mordrid tried twice more to jump away, and twice more, the unseen figure pulled him down with a strength he had never before experienced. "Where you going there, buddy? I thought you wanted to have a little late-night party with us. What's the matter? Getting cold feet?" Under Mordred's mask, he sweat profusely. "Whoever this guy is, he's way tougher than me. I've got to get out of here, and fast. Perhaps this master is only some random expert who was passing by. If I just explain the situation and then flatter his strength, maybe he'll let me go." Mordrid stiffly turned his head to face the stranger for the first time. His eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets when he realized that the stranger in front of him was none other than Lord Ulrich's son, Nathan Hayfield. You, but you're just a child. Mordrid could barely get out a sentence. The shock of the situation froze his entire body, and all he could do was stand there, mouth agape, at Nathan. You really thought you had us, didn't you? Too bad I picked up your scent immediately. I've been watching you since this afternoon when you spied on us in the restaurant. Nathan smiled and thought about how lucky he was to have access to the power of Asura. It had helped to warn him of Mordred's presence. In fact, any time there was dark energy stemming from a person with an intent to kill near Nathan, the power of Asura alerted him. Nathan's smile fell into a grimace as his tone grew cold. Now tell me, my friend in black, who sent you? Was it House Raven? What about the Clays? Or was it the Crane family? No, I cannot say. Well, let's think for a moment, shall we? The Cranes don't have the influence in Godricshall to pull a stunt like this, so let's cross them off. Next, we've got the Ravens and the Clays. What do you think? Am I getting warmer? Do what you will of me. I'll never talk, no matter what. Ah, okay then. The Clays it is. Wait, no. How? How did you? Nathan's lips curved into a sinister snarl. I didn't. You just told me.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.